Good morning, everybody. This is Patrick Lee. It's time for Midweek Motivation Live. I hope everyone is doing good today. I'm doing phenomenal. Drinking coffee in one of my favorite cups right now. Birthday present from my brother. It says, "Being my brother is really the only gift you need." What a pleasure it is to have a brother like my brother, Eric Lee. Love you, bro. Our relationship with my brother, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that today, a little bit about relationships. Good to see people tuning on already, people tuning into the show. Good to see you, Deanne. Love you, sister. Good friend, my friend, Miss Deanne. Sal watching, Pete watching, a bunch of other people already tuning in. This is awesome. Love it. Want to talk to you today about relationships and love. The title of the show, you probably saw when you tuned in. So, Power of Unity. What the world needs now. There's a Burt Bacharach wrote a song, I think in the 70s. You can go back and check me on that, but I believe it was him. I believe it was Burt Bacharach wrote a song called "What the World Needs Now Is Love, Sweet Love." And it's true. Love is something that seems to be becoming more and more absent in our lives, in our workplaces, and sometimes even in our places of worship, our places of business, the relationships we have with others. One of the things that seems to be lacking is love. And I want to talk to you about that today. The power of unity and the power of agreement. I'm not on here to preach at you, but I am going to preach. I'm not on here to condemn you or hurt you, but I am going to give you some information that I think excuse me, that I believe will help you. I've been traveling. I've been out of state in airports for a few days. Forgive me for a little bit of a cough, a little bit of an allergy. And you don't need an explanation. It's okay. You guys love me. But anyway, a little bit of a cough. And I apologize in advance. I apologize in advance if I step on your toes a little bit today. And hopefully my goal is just to challenge you in your heart, in your mind, and especially in your spirit about the power of unity, the power of love. I know many of you that watch the show locally, I know you personally, and I know your relationships, many of them, and how you treat people. And like I said, I'm not here to beat anyone up. I have witnessed outpouring of love from so many of you towards me and to others as I watch you in your life and how you operate with other people. And that is so refreshing to me and reassuring that the people that I choose to have around me on a regular basis are people that exercise love or flow in unity, are always striving to create unity in their life, in their family, in their business, in their relationships. And this last trip I took out of state was very instrumental in waking me up to some of the things that were going on in my life and my relationships, and how to increase that myself, and some of those things that I would like to share with you. I want to go on to talk, of course, a little bit about my brother. Love the coffee cup, right? Love the coffee. The coffee that I'm drinking was a gift from another friend, Christmas present from a good brother, and bought me a bag of Death Wish coffee. And it's amazing. I have no wish for death. But the brand is called Death Wish. It's really strong, and it's got this it's amazing coffee. So there are a lot of good coffees out there. I don't get sponsored by any of them. Death Wish is a great coffee. Black Rifle Coffee Company has great coffee. Roasters Coffee Company in Amarillo, my friend Craig owns that, and it has amazing coffee. It's all roasted locally. Great coffee. So I'm aficionado of great coffee. And so as I enjoy that today, I want to talk to you about these things. Yes, Deanne says, I am loved. I am highly favored. You, my friend, are a lover of people for sure. And I am blessed to call you friend and have you in my life. My brother and I had a relationship growing up that sometimes seemed to be love-hate. And he's my younger brother. My older brother, Rick, taught me how to fish. And we ran around a lot together when I was very young, and my younger brother stayed home, got left behind, left to his own devices, and would find multiple ways to get into trouble while I was out running around. And then as my older brother grew up and moved out, my younger brother and I started hanging out a lot, and our relationship changed at that time. And as I got older, when I moved, I invited my brother to move with me. Whenever I moved again, I would invite him to move. Bring your wife, come on, stay with us, and let's see if we can create a life somewhere. And that we did that a couple of times. He is back in Oregon taking care of my mom with his lovely wife, Christine. And our relationship over the years has changed and grown. As far apart as we are, over 1,500 miles apart, our relationship has grown closer as brothers. Thank you, Terry, my brother from another mother with the same daddy. Terry McCaffrey watching the show today. I love that. And I appreciate your compliments. I appreciate you so much. You are a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And that's incredible. There is power in unity. My relationship with my brother has grown stronger even over the distance. And I have learned so many things about him and his opinions and feelings towards me in the last couple of years that I had no idea about. And I've also seen exercised opinions of others towards me recently and over the last couple of years that have made it quite clear where they stand on relationships in my life. Many relationships I've had have been in harmony, in unity. How blessed it is when we dwell together in unity, when we work together in unity, and we share love to our fellow man, our fellow sister, people that we work together with. What a blessing that is. But one of the worst things that can happen to you, and this may be where you're at today, is when you're living in a state of disunity, when there is no love in your life. You feel like there is no love in your life. You feel like no one is in agreement with you, is in agreement with your goals, wants to move forward with you and help you as we go through life together. And if that's you today, you really are the person that I'm talking to, because there is power in unity. When people lock their arms together and move forward towards a common goal, something magical happens. It's not magic, but in the regular sense of the term, people would call that magical. Magical. I call it blessing. I call it miracles. You know what I mean? I call it miracles. And I think that when those things happen, you feel, some people call it vibrating on the same wavelength, right? Hey, we are in tuned together, and we're vibrating, we're jiving, right? Sometimes we say, does that bear witness with your spirit? Sometimes it's called synergy, right? Synergy is happening when we are in unity. There is definitely power in unity. I believe that God created a quantum field and that our atoms vibrate at a certain level that creates the feeling of love, that creates this miracle feeling of unity and synergy. I believe that. Agreement, Terry says, agreement is a conduit for the power of God to fall. I could not agree more. It is blessed for us to dwell in unity. I have seen the power of love exercised from so many of you that watch the show, as it's been poured out to me, as it's been poured out to people that you work with. I have watched business owners strive with an employee out of love to bless that employee, to promote that employee, to help them do better in life, to get their act together, all for naught, for that person to eventually have to be removed from that place of employment, from their job. They've had to be released from the job. And that person will turn around, and we call it don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? That person will turn around in anger and snap back at that person and have harsh words and bitterness to share towards them. directed at them when all along they could not see that that person was acting out of love, trying to help them succeed in life, right? Midweek Motivation Live. What does it say across the bottom of the screen? Motivating you to success in every area of life. And if we can share love with you, if we can share unity with you, and we can change your spirit to where you start walking in agreement, there is power in that. You become a new person, a new man, a new woman. You start operating in a new level of authority because your spirit has changed. You've gone from one stone to the higher stepping stone. You're going from one level to a new level. And we see that progression in your spirit, in your soul, through your actions and your words. And you become a person that we can create synergy with. We can grow. The Bible talks about one man being able to put 1,000 angels or 1,000 demons to flight, but two can put 10,000. How many of you know that that's not just double? That's like 10x, right? Everyone's talking about 10x. So if you can do one thing, two people can do 10 times that amount together. How many of you have ever dug post holes by yourself? Raise your hand. Me. How many of you have ever dug a ditch by yourself? Me. How many of you know when a friend comes over and helps you in construction, in working on your home, in doing a job, that when two people put their hands together, things happen faster? And it's not just twice as fast, it's at least 10 times as fast. I was helping a lady move, a client friend of mine, helping her load a truck. She's an elderly single woman. A couple of weeks ago, and it was moving day. We were closing on her house that day. We showed up that morning with a couple of friends, people that we had rounded up to come help this lady move. And it became apparent quickly, as soon as we opened the door, that there was way more work than we had intended for there to be. Then we understood what was going to happen to get that truck loaded by noon that day. And some of the people there were committed for a couple of hours, and they had another job they needed to get to. And when that happened, I called my friends. I have a group at my church, my men friends, and I sent out a message to the group and told them the situation and said, hey, men, I need some friends, man, right now. I need some help. And we've got to get this lady's truck loaded. And I'm here basically by myself with this lady's injured son. Everyone else had to leave for a while. And 5 men showed up in 20 minutes. They said, hey, man, they started messaging me on my phone. They said, hey, man, what do you need? What's the address? We'll be there. Within 20 to 30 minutes, we had 5 guys there. And within about 40 minutes, we had that truck loaded. That's unity. That is synergy. That is the power of men coming together. And ladies, you do it too. I'm not, only talking about men. Ladies do it too. When you start a new business, what's the first thing you do? You call all your girlfriends, right? You start marketing to all of your lady friends. And no matter what that is, you all come together. I have seen it in my daughter and friends watching the show, and friends in my church, friends in my business. Ladies are powerful, powerful, powerful networkers. And they know there's power in unity. And if we all come together and we have something in common that we can all get behind and love, that makes all of us successful. And ladies are phenomenal at that. I believe in many areas, even better than men. Why does that happen? Why does that happen? Because you've developed a sense of love. You want each other to succeed. You have each other's back. One of the best, and I don't say this to be cheesy, but one of the best memes I have seen out there, the sayings, talks about women coming up alongside a friend and straightening their crown. That's powerful. That's love. Deanne says love is an emotion that keeps people bonded and committed to one another. And I could not agree more. Love is an action word. Love is a verb. Jesus said, Easy Talk said that on their Jesus Freak album 30 years ago, at least 20 years ago. Love is a verb, right? Love is an action word. The power of unity. When people are dwelling together, working together in unity. That's when the blessing happens. Yes, honey, I love you. I am home. I am filming today from the original Studio One, drinking coffee from my brother's cup. I love it. I love the comments on here. People are like, "Yeah, that's my daughter commenting on the show. Hey, you're home." She didn't know I was home yet. I'm like, "Honey, I told you I'd be home last night." It was a long day yesterday, traveling up early, a couple of different airports and layovers. It was fun traveling with my friend Terry. In unity, man, this weekend was a powerful weekend. We saw so many lives changed, so much love and unity that was shared. It was basically an overwhelming experience, and that's really what I wanted to come back and share with you guys today. The power of unity. You know, and I know, when you are in agreement, man, life is heaven. And when you are not in agreement, life can become an absolute living hell. And when that happens, many people have to be removed from those relationships. When one person can simply not get in line with the goal, that person has to be cut off, or that root will grow in the entire organization and cause disunity. That person, no matter how much you may love that person, this is the power of love. Love has to step in and say, if you will not correct your action, you will have to be removed. You will have to be cut off from the collective in order to protect those that you love. The bigger picture is love. The bigger picture is unity. Too much is at stake in this world today for us to continue to move forward without love in our life. Too much is at stake in your relationship with your spouse, with your children, for you to move forward without love in your life. Love starts in forgiveness, right? Your goodness brings people to repentance. That means turning away from wrong action. When you can continue to share love with a person in their wrong action and tell them why you're doing that, many times you can turn those actions around. You can bring that person to a place of repentance, and that ushers in forgiveness. And when you can forgive someone for wrong actions, not only does it restore that relationship, but it sets you free from a prison that you've been in, a prison that you've created yourself, a prison of hard feelings towards that person, a prison of not being able to move forward in peace and unity, smoothness. Disunity is almost like putting square wheels on your car. You guys all know, if you put square wheels on your car and tried to drive down the road, it'd be a pretty rough ride. Unity smooths out the edges. If you've ever used a lathe, I grew up turning wood in school and used to love wood shop, and then later on had a lathe. And lathe takes a rough piece of stock and it spins it at a high rate of speed, and you have a blade on a bridge that moves across that. And as you move that blade across, it removes the rough edges till eventually you have a very smooth spinning piece of stock, whether that be wood or metal. When you're sanding down the edges of a rough piece of wood, how many of you know if you run your hand across that rough piece of wood, you're sure to get a splinter? You're going to feel pain. Something's going to poke you, and it's not going to be pleasant. But as you sand on that, it becomes smoother and smoother and smoother and more pleasant to the touch. Thus is relationship in your life. And the best way to smooth those out is love. Sometimes love is a hard word that has to be said, but when you speak the truth in love, you cannot help but help, or you cannot help. That's double word, help but help. You cannot help but make that situation smoother. You cannot help but make it feel better to you and the other person. Terry says the most destructive force in the body of Christ is disunity. I could not agree more. I love unity. I love love. And this isn't just a ushy gushy show today about love, flowers, butterflies, tiptoeing through the tulips. It's a word that needs to be spoken to people. We have got to get back in the spirit of love. We have got to start exercising forgiveness, but moving forward in unity with those we love. If we have rough edges that need to be sanded off, sand them off. Sand them off with love. Speak the truth in love. Get everybody back in line. Get everybody moving in the same direction, whether it's your team, whether it's your home life. If it's something that you can do in your small group, your life group, people that have hurt you in the past, forgiveness is the first way. Like I said before, forgiveness is a great way to start sanding off those edges and open up the conversation about what may have happened in the past. Sometimes you have to let the past be the past and agree to move on beyond that because of your love for that person. And you can move forward. And later on in life, you will find that the things that were separating you, causing disunity, were really not that big at all. And you can laugh about it and make agreements to always move forward in unity. If you have problems in the relationship, you got to talk about them. You've got to get them out on the table. I got back last night and my wife and I were at a local restaurant eating dinner, and she said, "So what did you take away?" That's what we always say in business, right? From a conversation, a meeting, a conference. Hello, Sal. Good to see you again. We always say, well, what were your takeaways from that? What is your takeaway? And my takeaway I'd like for you to get from this today is simply the power of love. What the world needs now is love. We have got to have love. Jesus said in the Bible, he was asked about the commandments. And while he said we should keep them all, he was asked about the importance of them. And he said, the most important commandment that I give you is to love your neighbor as yourself, right? Love your neighbor as yourself. Anything that you would do for yourself, thank you guys. You are awesome. I love you too. Anything good that you would do for yourself, you should be willing to do for your friend, your neighbor, your brother, your spouse, your family, your sister. All of the good works that I do are worthless if I do not do them with love. I've taken many of these today from the Bible and from other business books, things that I have learned in life, mostly the Bible. I've shared with you for years now. The Bible is the basis for nearly every motivational book ever written. Every successful business book ever written has its foundations in biblical precepts and principles, right? So the greatest commandment of all that I give you today is to love your neighbor as yourself. And any of your actions that you do, if you do not do them with love, you need to take a step back and rethink your motivations. Get your motivations in check. Ask yourself, what is it that I want to see happen? How can I make this relationship a more unified relationship? And if that is truly your goal, you cannot help but do that and see that with the eyes of love. And if you do, you can't help but see success come from that. And it may not be immediate, but if you continue to share love, love trumps hate every time. People can continue to hate you. As you continue to love them, you are sanding away the rough edges. Mainly, like the waves of the ocean, continue to polish the sands of the sea. Very, very powerful. You can have giant stone cliffs, and as the waves beat against them year after year after year, you can see that hard stone cliff eventually be worn down and sanded away by consistent wave after wave after wave coming against that, sanding it down. And love is really the same way. Continue to repay evil with love. Continue to bless those that say bad things about you. Continue to bless people that use you wrongfully. People that come against you. Continue to love them. The best way to share love for that person is to pray for them. Pray for the person that uses you, pray for the person that hurts you. And when you do, that will create a sense of love, uncontrollable sense of love for that person. And when you can see that person through the eyes of love, it'll change your life. Love you guys today. I hope this has helped you. Hope it's helped give you a new outlook on life for today and the rest of this week and your future moving forward. The power of unity and love. You guys have a blessed week. This has been Patrick Lee with Midweek Motivation Live. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.